just a couple bad weather fans representing New York, talking all things sports. Man, what could go wrong? We got Alex, who's a fan of the Knicks, and Mike of the Nets. The yin-yang of the tri-state, place your bets on the Yankees, Giants, Mets, or Jets. Yeah, you should listen if they're sparking your interest. If you made a vow to your team, don't break it. Bad weather fans is the relation.
That's right, the Bad Weather Fans, episode number 184. Mike Bisegley, Alex Benezowitz, and of course, we're presented by DraftKings, the only Nets and Knicks podcast out there. As we are deep into the summer, Team USA led by a lot of Nets and Knicks. Ben Simmons working out, Obi Toppin's a pacer, Knicks suing people, and away we go. How are you doing, Alex?
I'm doing well. And RJ Barrett's in Canada with SGA and Dylan Brooks, crushing it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man.
So,
yeah. Well, I know we
were
were attempting to get an RJ Barrett expert on the show. But I guess our attempts failed. It didn't happen.
Well, it didn't fail. We just didn't ask.
No, I was saying we asked his dad, but I don't think he returned our text.
Oh, his dad. Yes. I thought you meant like our guy that got us the audio for the RJ Barrett.
No, not that.
What was it? The paint's wide open, and then the big Nick accounts that aggregators that just want to get attention and don't care about the team, just be like, "There's controversy. Who's he taking a shot at?" Like he just said. Well, the paint's wide open. It's basically an international game. I have shooters. I'm playing on an all-star team, basically. You know.
Well, what's so funny about that is I legit thought it was pants wide open, and when you were sending, this is not a joke. When you were,
you were messing with me.
No, I wasn't, because I had listened to the audio like half asleep one night, I think, and then when I saw you putting the tweet out and it said paint's wide open, I legit thought it should be pants wide open, and I was texting you like, I think you added an I. It's pants.
And I thought you were kidding, so I responded like, ha, 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 ha.
No, I was serious. Like, is pants wide open? But I guess that doesn't make sense. If RJ Barrett was like, I'm in international play and my pants are wide open, I'd be like, well, I guess he's having a lot of sex, which is a different context to the text, to the tweet.
Good times.
But anyway. As I did mention, we are presented by DraftKings, and of course, we're all gearing up for the NFL season. It's right around the corner. Nonstop football action is in sight. I'm really fired up for this. I know you are, Alex. You can get in on the action with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL right now. Customers can bet just $5 and score $200 in bonus bets instantly. Nobody's missing out of the action this season. All DraftKings customers can take advantage of 2 new offers every game day this September. Again, I know Alex is a Jets fan, me as a Giants fan. We are so excited for this season. Life's more fun when you're in on the action. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app before the kickoff. Use code BWF. That's BWF to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5 on any NFL bet. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code BWF. The crown is yours. Issuance, eligibility, and deposit restrictions apply. Terms in sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms. Gambling problem? Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. Are the Knicks suing somebody for what? Why did they in fight with the Raptors now? It's
they're fighting with the Raptors. They hate Masai Ujiri. Like they just hate that guy so much. But that's another story, and that's probably why they're doing it. But also, like employee that worked for the Knicks, was going to change jobs and sent all his information to his personal account.
I'd do it.
Went to the Raptors, and I don't know the whole story, and I really don't care unless the Knicks are getting some draft picks. Like I don't give a shit if a billionaire is suing a billionaire. You know what I mean?
Right.
How do you sue a guy in Canada? I don't know, and I don't care to know. It's probably because they're in the NBA. I just who knows? Who gives a shit? Like I just literally don't care. So I'm not going to give you information on that.
Well, okay. I just wanted to poke fun at the Knicks for at least 30 seconds to start the show.
Go.
I do find, well, no, that was it. You did it for me.
Oh,
so
you did it.
Great.
Okay, good.
No, everybody knows my feelings on the Knicks. There was something interesting yesterday that came out in the New York Times that one of the better players for the Bucks, Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Who?
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Okay.
Bo.
I've heard of him.
Not going to sign the long-term stay in Milwaukee deal until he has more information on the direction and titles of the team. And of course, that got everybody's percolating in New York. Nets, I would say more on the Knicks side, because the Nets don't get big free agents like the Knicks, but that was a joke.
Yes,
I didn't work. Okay,
yeah,
fuck you.
no, I just let it go.
But of course, Giannis, Giannis says that I don't care who you are, but you have to take note and you're interested.
I'm just so over it, man.
But you have
I'm
to be.
over
You
it.
have to take note of it. When you hear that, though, it does open the door a little for one of the greatest players in the history of the game. I mean, how do you not start thinking about it?
I just know Giannis's story, and I know about his life, and I watched his movie, the Disney movie. I don't know if you've seen it. You should see it. I know it's Disney and they play it up, but it's all like the facts of the story are true, that if he didn't get selected by the Bucks where he did in the draft, he would have went international. He may never have seen his family again. Basically, like he would have been sent overseas, and like they had no money. They were living out of a car. They were living in an apartment that they barely could afford with like 7 kids. And it was just like, I know I'm exaggerating the amount of kids, but it was just like, and one of their brothers was in Africa, and it was just like they were all over the place. And so if the Bucks, and that's why when they didn't know the Bucks were going to take him, the Bucks took him, and they were so excited, him and his brother in the stands with the Greek flag. And that's why he's so loyal to Milwaukee. Remember when he was young and he hit this game winner at the Garden to beat the Knicks? Everybody's like, how do you feel about beating the Knicks at the Garden and hitting this game winner shot at the Garden? He said, I wish I did it in front of our home fans in Milwaukee. And everybody's like, what? Like, he doesn't care. Like, I know he's been in America a lot longer now, and he kind of gets it a little more probably. But in my opinion, I think Giannis is just putting pressure on the Bucks to improve. They won their title, and he wants to win more, and he just wants to let them know he's not satisfied. He's going to be a Buck for life. I can't see him going anywhere. He's going to be like Kobe with the Bucks, and he's just never going to leave. I can't see him going anywhere else because of that loyalty. I think he just needs to keep them on edge because he sees what's happening with Dame. He sees what's happening with all these other players, that they get too comfortable, and then the teams don't do anything. Like even Kobe, when he was in with the Lakers, obviously he never played for another team, but he flirted with the Knicks. He flirted with other teams, and he always kept them on their toes. And even when they got rid of Shaq and they went down for a little bit, he made sure they got Powell. He made sure they got Lamar Odom. They got all these other players around him to make sure that they won championships. Phil Jackson came back, and et cetera, et cetera. So I don't think it's going to happen, especially Giannis. Embiid, maybe, but like Giannis, I don't think he goes anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, I think it's a really good one. Doesn't necessarily mean that's something forever because things do change and times do change, right. And it's been years. And it doesn't mean that because of that, Giannis might have a change of heart. I don't know if that necessarily means like just because he's a free agent or is available, however, that links him to the Knicks. But you hear a report like that, and if you're a fan, it's hard not to just start dreaming. And I don't care if it seems like an impossibility, but guys like that are once in a lifetime. So when Giannis says something like that, and you're around the league, you perk up. And I hear you on what you're saying, and I would probably tend to bet in your direction. But if he did become available, I mean, it would just be incredibly fascinating to see where he would land, how all of that would go down. Like if it was some form of sign-in trade, the assets that would have to be moved from one direction to the other, it would be simply crazy. And then on the Embiid thing that you talked about, I think it all stems with what happens with James Harden is he's kind of stuck in limbo in one of the stranger things you've ever seen where he's, ripping Daryl Morey in China, basically saying, get me the fuck out of the 76ers organization. The Sixers are saying, hell no, like deal with it. And now they're stuck. So I wouldn't blame Embiid, I guess, if Harden bailed and he's just kind of stuck there. I could see him wanting to leave because Sixers then are in a rough spot. They were going to have him and nothing else around him. Tyrese Maxey, not enough to be anywhere near championship level competition. So the Sixers are in a weird spot. And I bring it back to the Nets because this is something I hate this conversation when it's who won the James Harden, Ben Simmons trade. And everybody's like, well, look where the 76ers are. I mean, to me, and it's still an open book because Ben has to continue to play, and hopefully he plays this year. But if you're asking who won the Ben Simmons, James Harden trade, it's the 76ers by a landslide. The guy played. They went to the second round of the Eastern Conference Finals Game 7, should have won the series. I'm not saying that they've been great success. They've been a failure in a lot of ways, but at least he plays. Like, I don't, the Ben doesn't play. So how could the net, I mean, it's not even close.
That's the end of the story. The guy plays. Even if Harden averaged 10 points a game, you know what I mean? Then the Sixers won the trade because Ben Simmons literally doesn't play.
No.
But guess what? He has another workout video. And all it is Ben Simmons is showing he's working out. He's going to show up to camp, and then he's going to have a back injury to be out for the season. It's just he's just showing that he's going to show up, that he's trying so he can keep getting paid. And that's it. That's all he's doing. He's a fraud, and he's never going to be the same again. And if he is, I'll be shocked. And you know what I'm saying? And that's it.
I'd like to argue against you and give you the reasons why I think you're wrong. I mean, as a Nets fan, I'm hopeful, and I have to be. That
of course, you have no choice.
I mean, yeah. You have to hope that when he comes back, he's great, and that somehow he puts it all together, and it's a year later, and he's in good health, his mind's in the right place, and away we go. And I mean, you think of like prime Ben Simmons added to the Nets, all of a sudden you have a different viewpoint of where this team can go. Not a title team, but at least you feel like, okay, they can be more in the mix of the East. But until he does it, I think it's unfair to get excited. I mean, he's got to prove it. And like to your point, I mean, his track record is he's not going to. His track record is he's going to come back. He'll have a couple nice games. He'll be hurt, and at some point, it's over. I think,
well, at least he'll be healthy for the in-season tournament. You know what I mean? At the beginning of the year, he'll crush it for the in-season tournament, win the in-season tournament championship, and then go into nowhere.
Ben Simmons in-season tournament MVP. I mean, would be the most, Ben Simmons thing ever. I'm excited for the inside. I'm excited to bold. I like the idea. I think it's a good move by the NBA to have an in-season tournament. I think it's a nice touch as they continue to evolve and develop the league.
I totally disagree. I know you love all the quirkiness, you love all that stuff, but like in general, I just don't get this one. I get the play-in tournament, which I was against, but then over time I'm like, okay, this makes sense, and that's what you're going to use against me. But like the in-season tournament makes no sense to me because the championship is a game 83 and it doesn't count for the regular season. Now you see how the NBA players act in the All-Star game in this era. They don't take it seriously. They don't care. In the previous eras, they weren't getting paid for it either or get minimal, and they played hard because it was a pride thing. It was for the fans. It was whatever. Now the NBA players are all like Kyrie style, like, well, what are you doing for me? You're not getting free labor out of me. Blah, blah, blah. It's just they don't care, and they just shoot from half court, and that's what it's going to be in the championship game. They're going to sit out. Why would they give a damn? What they need to do is put some incentive on this in-season tournament, make game 83 count towards your regular season record. Like if you win, if you lose, it doesn't count, or make it like if you win the championship of the in-season tournament, you automatically have a tiebreaker to go up a seed in the playoffs. Or, somebody brought up on ESPN that like make it an automatic playoff berth. Like, no, you can't do that. If you have 10 wins in the season, you can't be like, oh, I'm in the playoffs. That's just dumb. But like make it a tiebreaker, automatic tiebreaker, or make that extra game count in the season. So you have an extra win. I don't know, something. Well, otherwise it just means nothing.
Well, I guess I'm not looking for some reason. Not for some reason. A lot of people get really angry when there's change to something that's been going on in their sport forever. I'll use Major League Baseball for an example. When people saw interleague play and hated the idea, now it's
wild card they hated. Remember the wild card
they hated. Everybody hated the wild card, and then all of a sudden everybody loves the wild card when it's the Mets and you get in. All of a sudden, oh, this is not so bad. We're here at the playoffs. You accept it and you get into it, but it's just really hard to accept change. And I saw that with the same thing with the in-season tournament. Oh, it's always the 8 teams. Why would you do this? You're losing the way things used to be, when the Nuggets snuck in as the 8 seed and and the whole thing. And then what we saw evolve after time is people watched it. It made the last couple of weeks of the season more interesting. Look what happened to the Miami Heat this year. They fell into it. They got hot, and then they ended up making it to the NBA Finals. It got people buzzed. It got people excited. It was more things to watch. So am I saying the in-season tournament is going to be the greatest thing anybody's ever watched, and people are going to take it super seriously, and it's going to be primetime action to watch? I don't think so. But I do think it's going to create fans to have a little more interest when they normally would not. I think they'll get a little more geared into it and be kind of jazzed up for it. Hang tight, Alex. My son's P watch is going off, and I have to turn it off. Hang tight. Oh, hold on. All right. Well, now that the P watch has been settled, and for those interested, it's a reminder for my 3-year-old to go to the bathroom. That's what that is. It's not for me.
I have that too, by the way, for myself. So
yeah, right. No, I know. Yeah, it's about to go up in 12 minutes. So hurry up, Seglia. So that's my viewpoint on the on P watches and the in-season tournament. Like, I get it. It's not going to be the greatest thing ever, but it'll be fun for a couple of days. And everybody that shit on it and said it was so stupid will have an opinion on it and talk about it. So as much as everybody's like, this is so stupid, no one, if you continue to talk about it and continue, even in a negative light, to bring it up over and over again, you are giving it attention. If you don't care, you ignore it.
You need incentive. You just need some kind of incentive. You need something. You need something. Because what's going to happen if, like, you know, you get to the championship and it's in Las Vegas, right? And it's on national TV and the game doesn't count and then the players don't play. Like, what's going to happen then? You know what I'm saying? The NBA is going to be pissed because the players aren't going to give a shit about getting like 50 grand or whatever kind of bonus they get for winning. You get a new t-shirt and a hat. Like, congratulations. Yeah. You won a useless championship. It's like winning the summer league championship. Like, it means nothing.
I do hope the Knicks win it.
Like I said, I hope it's a Ben Simmons championship.
I want a Knicks championship. I want a Knicks championship.
Yeah. And then imagine they hang up that banner. Oh my God. Don't. That'd be the end of the world. That would be the worst. Don't hang the banner, please. If you win the in-season tournament, please, Knicks. I beg you.
Oh my God, Julius Randle's raising the thing, you know,
holding the trophy,
holding the trophy. Knick fans raiding, outside of the Garden, jumping on
right.
And from
Danny Durant is going.
Yeah, who do you think?
How do you think about coming to the Knicks?
Who do you think of coming to the Knicks? Oh man,
moron.
But anyway, I can't. It has been. What day is it? It's August. So I mean, NBA season's like 6-7 weeks away. It's coming up, and Dame Lillard still wasn't.
It feels like the NBA is in this holding pattern. There's been nothing in the offseason since with you got Harden, you got Dame, you got Paul George potentially. I don't think the Clippers are really going to do anything. You got those three guys that are basically like out there. And the whole NBA is just waiting because teams like the Knicks want to just like sneak in, give somebody Fournier and steal some picks back just to make the trade happen, some shit like that. And it's just like things can change like really quick. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You always say like deadlines make deals. I feel like you always say that.
Maybe.
Or do you? Maybe it's you. Maybe it's somebody else. I don't know. Yeah. Somebody says it. Deadlines make deals.
It's your other co-host that you're
my other podcast
with.
Yeah.
Like,
on Good Weather Fans.
Good Weather Fans, right? With
Coonies.
With Coonies. He's like, don't do it, Seglia. We're doing the show and we're gonna have all these positive Knicks spins. It's gonna be great. Oh my God, Tom Thibodeau was so good. Oh, he's the best.
He's the best. Yes,
he's the best.
And
the best that ever was.
What was I saying? I forgot what I was saying.
Talking about Knicks tournament, Knicks championship, James Harden, no trades.
All the trades happen. And once that happens, things will change. Things will change in the NBA, and it'll happen for a second, but it'll happen quick. Everything will change, and then things will move, and it'll happen right before training camp or in training camp. Kind of like when the Knicks forced Melo to come to camp to waive his no trade clause. They're like, we have this trade done with Oklahoma City, and he's like, no, I don't want to go there. We're like, well, okay, we'll see you at camp. He's like, all right, fine. You know what I mean? I'll go to Oklahoma City.
Did you just self-mute yourself, or did Dolan come in and just mute you? Were you about to rip the Knicks, and now Dolan, not Dolan J. Trump, the real James Dolan now listens to this podcast, and he has the ability to come in and mute Alex.
Right. It's because I'm using the Knicks background. Yeah, exactly.
Right. Actually, he sees that he might.
Yeah. Well, it's actually my picture. I took the picture at the Knicks Hawks playoff game. So. The one they won when we danced in the streets, the original dancing in the streets.
That was the Obi Toppin alley-oop game.
Yes, the Obi Toppin alley-oop game.
That guy was so good. I'm
so upset.
I haven't talked about this with you, so
no, we haven't.
I don't mind. I am. Before we talk Obi Toppin, let the fans know about the Bad Weather Fans DraftKings coming up with the season around the corner, and then after that, we're gonna talk some Obi Toppin, high flying pacer.
And we'll get into some Nets and some Jets and maybe some Ohtani. I don't know. But with the NFL season right around the corner, nonstop football action is in sight. You can get in the action with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and score $200 in bonus bets instantly. Nobody's missing out on the action this season. All DraftKings customers can take advantage of 2 new offers every game this day in September. Not this day. In September. Not this day. Every game day in September. I can't read. It's early in the morning. Call to action. I shouldn't have read that. Life's more fun when you're in on the action. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app before kickoff. Use code BWF, that's BWF for Bad Weather Fans, to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5 on any NFL bet. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code BWF for Bad Weather Fans. The crown is yours. Issuance, eligibility, and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms. Gambling problem? Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY at 467-369. Now, Obi Toppin.
Yeah, he's going to the Pacers. For Knicks fans that didn't know that.
8th overall.
I am so excited.
Averages over 25 points a game when he gets 30 minutes or more.
He'll stink for the Pacers.
Traded for 2 future second-round picks that Knicks will probably never use.
He's going
to be good, man. With Halliburton, you don't think he's going to be good? I think most improved player is a lock in the NBA.
Stop it for the lock. You don't know that. He has a. I feel good for him.
Well, him and Ben Simmons will be neck and neck for most improved player in the NBA.
Can you be most improved player when you just you're like an all NBA player? You then become bad. And then you improve again. I guess would he be? That's an interesting because
John Morant won it, and he was rookie of the year.
But he never. But my point is, he was ascending. He went up, then down, and then up again. I guess you could be most improved player based on the year before you were least most bad player. What's the opposite of improved? Decreased, most decreased player, and then he's back up to it. But yes, I think Obi has a chance, and I think he's a good fit with Halliburton running up and down the court. It's funny to see him, Bruce Brown, like the Pacers.
They got a good
I know
team,
you
man.
hate the Pacers, and we're not Pacer fans. I don't like them either. But different history that the Knicks had. That's what saw them in the playoffs a few times, but different, obviously. I can't wait to see him succeed there. I really will be like rooting for him.
I know.
Very, very hard.
Well, they got your boy Benedict also, Buddy Hield. A couple guys. Miles Turner's still there. You saw Miles Turner's outfit at the summer league that he was sitting courtside. He looked like a mom at a PTA meeting. Like it was like the weirdest outfit. And I'm not here to make fun of people, but like, what are you like? It was just bizarre. Google that if you think I'm crazy. But anyway, so yeah, him and Halliburton are going to be great, and it's going to suck. But I'm not rooting for it. Obviously, I'm rooting for the Knicks. But the Knicks, they had to pay Josh Hart. That was the right thing to do. They have to pay it quickly. They probably will before the season. And which I hope so. If they get rid of it quickly, I'm going to lose my mind. But Obi he just never got a shot, and the Knicks organization is surrounded by people who just obsess over Julius Randle, and I know he's been an all-star 2 of the last 3 years, all NBA 2 of the last 3 years, playoffs 2 of the last 3 years, et cetera, et cetera. But this guy's not taking you over the top, and you haven't even given Obi Toppin a chance. And and you never know. And it was drafted by this regime. It's not like you came in with this draft pick that wasn't yours, and you kind of got stuck with him. You never really wanted this guy, and you had your own guy, and Randall was your guy, and you just never gave him a shot. Like, no, Leon Rose drafted Obi Toppin. Like, it's the weirdest thing. And then they extend Randall before they had to. They had another year of control with the team option. They didn't need to do it yet, but they did it. And then he has a bad season. Then he has the good season, but he's still just, Ian Eagle said it on our podcast last week. It's just like, can you win a championship with him as a 1A or 1B? No, like you probably can't. You know what I mean? He says it in a much nicer way, but because he's a professional and I'm just, Alex, but it is what it is, man. It's just, it sucks, man. I don't know.
Yeah, no, you do know. You do know. It sucks. It was a perfect storm of shit, and how Obi Toppin didn't get to play because Julius Randle was signed. Obi then never got his chance, and I think the frustrating part, and you stole these stats from Evan Roberts, is how well he plays when he does get a chance. And I think that's the frustrating part more than anything, is because you can debate about the numbers if it's real or not real. But if it was cut and dry, like, okay, Julius Randle doesn't play, Obi Toppin gets 30 plus minutes or whatever the numbers were, and he doesn't look good. But he does. It's such a small sample size that's impossible to really know, which I think we'll find out when he's on the Pacers, because in my hunch, he'll get more minutes than 10 or whatever the fucking number was. So it's impossible to know. And that's what makes, out of all of these failed Knicks draft picks, this one's my favorite more than Frank Ntilikina, Kevin Knox, all of these draft picks in that 7 to 10-ish range. This one's by far my favorite.
And that's the worst part, is not knowing that Obi is good or not knowing that he's played great in the playoffs. When he had his opportunity, he was like 18-8 or something going into the fourth quarter of a game versus the Heat in the playoffs when Randle was hurt and he didn't play again. And it raised my eyebrows at the time. I said it on this podcast of like, is Tibbs taking him out because he wants to protect Randle? Like, is he doing that? Would he really do that in a playoff game? Because if Obi comes out and then he has a great fourth quarter, I know he was starting to struggle a little bit late third, early fourth, but like if he comes back in and scores over 20 points and hits, like, let's say hits some game-winning shots, not like a game winner at the buzzer, but like makes plays at the end to win a playoff game that he started. How do you justify Julius Randle the next season? They probably knew they were trading Obi after the year. And it just makes me wonder if that was all a conspiracy to take him out. And would Tibbs really do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, and if that's what this organization is doing, then that's a big problem, because it's just my conspiracy theory brain. I don't think it's true. I think Tibbs is crazy. He wants to win.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, what is the reasoning for sitting Obi Toppin for that fourth quarter against the Heat? I think it was game 1, right? Or 2, whatever it was. Who knows what the game was? Everybody can look it up. And it's just, it's the middle of the summer now. Who gives a shit? But like it's just weird because Julius Randle is a protected player. You got guys like Theo Pinson and Reggie Bullock saying it out in the open on their podcast since they've been gone. You got everybody knows it. Randle can do what he wants. You don't even have to be in the locker room to know that. You can just watch this team and see them on the court, that he can do what he wants. And then Obi breathes the wrong way, he's out. Mitchell Robinson breathes the wrong way, he's out. Quickly gets yelled at. Randle can curse somebody out and curse out a teammate and shove him on the court, and he's then playing in the next quarter. You know what I'm saying? So it's weird.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it was probably game 1, right? Because it was the game they lost, and it was at the Garden, so it had to have been game 1 because they won game 2. They went on to lose 3 and 4. I remember the sequence well. Well,
yeah,
happy to say it now. They lost game 1. Jimmy Butler got hurt. They almost win game 2, Miami, without Jimmy Butler.
Right.
Then they go back to Miami. 3 and 4 are blowouts.
That's when he was drinking the coffee, right? Jimmy Butler was drinking the coffee on the street, walking down New York streets.
Yes. Yeah. They are up 3-1. Then they go back to the Garden. Knicks win, make it 3-2. That was on my birthday. I was hate watching on May 10th. And then game 6, back in Miami, kind of wild finish where the Knicks do have a chance, but Miami holds off and gets the win. That was your sequence, Knicks fans, if you're remembering. Met fans, lost. Sweep to the hands of the Sixers.
Speaking of the Nets, are you happy to be back to normal? I asked Ian Eagle this last week. Are you happy to be back to normal this year?
No, I want to win a title. This is back to normal.
You're not excited to see like Clowney or Whitehead develop, or these guys, or the rookies, or whoever they got, and just like see what happens with like.
No, I mean, I'm excited about it. Yes, but I was excited. I like having superstars. It was fun having a chance to win a title. I enjoyed waking up every morning, looking over to my beautiful wife, thinking about my 2 gorgeous children, and then just being like, we have a chance. Although I had one
kid.
The
cat? You didn't even mention the cat. You didn't even mention Leon.
Well, Leon and I mean, yeah, of course. Leon.
Complicated relationship now.
I love that cat so much. Don't get me emotional. Anyway, yeah, I liked waking up in the morning and saying I had a chance to win a title. I don't have that anymore. Yeah, I'm going to enjoy the normalcy and the development of Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges. Does he become a first-time All-Star? Yeah, I have no choice. But no, I miss the stress of what Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant and James Harden, what could go on off the court and all of that. No, but I think knowing that at least it gave me a title, I don't mind it. But in the moment when it was over, there was a sense of relief. Yes, it was nice. I also think, Alex, I think the Mavericks are going to be great this year. I think they're going to be phenomenal. I think Kyrie and Luka are going to be awesome. I think my sneaky team in the West. But yeah,
I'm over the Kyrie hype everywhere he goes. Everywhere he goes, he's like, "Oh, they're going to be so great, Kyrie. They're going to be so great." And then it's just
I think to plop him in Dallas in the middle of the season with Luka went so poorly, as everybody's seen, that nobody's now going to be talking about them having a chance. But if they figured it out, sneaky good. I don't think Dallas is coming out of the West, but I think they're going to surprise people with how well they play this year.
But it's not just what's going on the court. It's Kyrie can, something can happen, and
of course,
in the news, and
it's mostly off the court.
Yeah,
none of it was on the court.
None of it.
When Kyrie played,
health a little bit,
health
a little.
Health.
Yeah.
But I'm saying when he played, was there ever any like his teammates didn't like him?
No, he's great. No,
his teammates love him. I mean,
mm-hmm.
You could get into the nuance of he handles the ball too much, whatever.
That conversation. That's all fixable stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, look at Alex, the Nets from 2 years ago when they played the Bucks and they lost in 7. They had no Kyrie Irving for 3/4 of the series and no James Harden for 3/4 of the series, and they almost beat the title team. That team healthy would have won the title, and I get it. Like
shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And they didn't, and I'll never have that experience. But that team was that. I mean, that team was. Bruce Brown was on that. I mean, that team was loaded. Yeah. That team was fucking loaded.
That was fun. It was fun to watch. Good. It's fun to watch them lose.
I watched that Game 7 highlights the other day for shits and giggles. I don't know. Sometimes I enjoy the torture.
Masochist, yeah.
I mean, that was the loudest an arena got in New York that year. That was nuts.
Maybe, I don't know. I don't have a
you were at the Knicks Hawk series.
Yeah, that was insane.
Those were great games.
I know I said on this podcast about Aaron Rodgers how I didn't really want him, and I didn't. But the way he's been since he's been here has really changed my mind, because it's not even just how he's acted, because you can be a phony very easily of like saying all the right things, but giving up the $30+ million just so the team can sign more players, that's the key right there. And that's what got me really into it. And just to bring it back to the Nets, Aaron Rodgers is very engaging with everybody in the media. He's doing interviews with ESPN. He's doing interviews with WFAN. He's doing ESPNs with like local Channel 2. He's doing everybody. He's not doing local podcasts, but he's doing every real news media outlets. He's doing interviews. Durant and Kyrie couldn't be bothered. The Nets are on WFAN. It's their flagship radio station, and guys on WFAN couldn't get Durant on an interview. Like, it was absurd. It's like these guys were like siloed in these old. They were mercenaries. They were literal mercenaries. They didn't give a shit. Aaron Rodgers is going out to games. He's doing all these things. He's going to Knicks games, Ranger games. He's going all these. He's dancing at Taylor Swift concerts. He's really, 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 really getting into it. Okay. And like, I know they haven't lost a game yet and haven't played a real game yet, and all of that. I get it, but he is doing so much more already than Durant and Kyrie ever tried to do. They didn't care. They did those practice at the park. I get that, but like, whatever. I'm
going to defend the Nets and rip the Nets, and defend Rodgers and rip Rodgers all at the same time. A lot that you said, and I'm very excited for your question, because this is the most juiced up I've been since we've started this podcast today. This is a really good topic, and I'm glad you said it. Number one, Aaron Rodgers did the interview with WFAN because WFAN was at Jet practice. It wasn't like he came on the phone. Now, yes, he had to agree to do it, so he did have to do it, but they were there, and that's the point. Daniel Jones did it with the Giants. They're at practice. It's part of the deal with the fan and the Jets where they get.
But if they were at Nets practice, would Kyrie and Durant sat down? They would not
have. But I don't think that's a Nets thing. I think that's an NBA thing. Like, I just think if anytime you have that kind of superstar, I don't know if they're going to be doing those interviews. Now, maybe at least once would have been nice. I agree with you. But I don't think
Melo was on ESPN radio sometimes. He would like, you know what I mean? Like, he would.
Yeah, no, I don't. I get you. I get you. One or two times. I do think there's an NBA thing where guys don't do interviews as much. I don't think it happens as much. I mean, but I'm probably, to your point though, it would have been nice once or twice that Kevin Durant comes on the air, if Kyrie Irving comes on the air, and it never happened.
They couldn't. It felt like they couldn't be bothered. Like, they couldn't be bothered.
Arrogance to them. No, I totally agree with you on that. But I just don't know if it's. Like, Embiid is on the Nets if he's doing $1 million, like it's just
WIP or something, right?
It's just different. I don't know. Like, they're just such elite superstars that the access is not there. Now, to Aaron Rodgers, I do agree. He's done a nice job of being out and about. And I said it when it happened. You
did.
You get Aaron Rodgers on your team, you're going to be excited. Now, has he gone above and beyond, I think, what everybody imagined? Hell yeah. And his teammates clearly love him. You've seen on Hard Knocks, it's pretty obvious. His teammates adore him, and he's been a great leader. That's why I said, like, if you get Aaron Rodgers, and he's been reinvigorated too because he's in a new scene, and you can see that. I mean, anybody that's been an employee somewhere for 18 years or whatever it ended up being in Green Bay, and then they get a new fresh start, it feels that energy. And that's just human nature. Even if it's Aaron Rodgers, superstar NFL quarterback, 2-time MVP, it's the same deal. That's why I said when you come into the Jets, it's like he's going to be reinvigorated. People love him, and he's awesome at football. And that's the part that if you're a Jet fan, you have to just be the most excited about is, and in full disclosure, I just want to say this because I think it's important. We're recording this before the Giants and Jets play. So, for example, if Aaron Rodgers goes out tonight and plays in the preseason game and his arm gets broken, don't be like, why are they not?
Man.
Yeah,
why would you say some shit?
No. I'm not rooting for it, but you know what I'm saying. I just want to give context to the audience when they're like, how are they? They're having this discussion and Aaron Rodgers is out for the year. That's all.
Yeah.
And then if that was the case, you won't hear this because I'll probably have edited it out. That would
let's be on record. Are you okay with him playing in the preseason game? That's all we can say. We can say that.
Well, this is actually before the game,
yes.
So it's more of an interesting take. I would not do it. I don't think it's a good idea, but I don't think he's getting hurt or anything like that. But I don't think it matters. It's irrelevant, and I just think I would not personally do it. But I don't think at the same time this is like this catastrophic move. Like, how can you do this? How can you do this? I think he'll play one series and it'll be over.
Yeah,
he's not gonna
play 3 quarters. Yeah, and he's not gonna play 3 quarters. I'm okay with it because he's been in the league long enough to know when and where to make the move, and it's preseason. Let me just get down. You know what I mean? Like, he's not gonna take a massive hit from Thibodeau coming around the corner. Like, you know what I'm saying? I just said it. I'm sorry. But, I don't see that happening. But that we're on record, at least now, Monday morning, when you hear this, you'll know what happened. Right. But, I don't know, man. I'm just excited because, Hard Knocks probably helping out a lot with that excitement where I'm seeing how much he's commanding the entire organization. Woody Johnson's still a cornball with that freaking chain. Like, that was so ridiculous. Like, come on, bro. Like, it's one thing if somebody gave it to you and you're like, yeah, I'll rock this. You know what I mean? Like, like Sauce gave Aaron Rodgers the number 8 chain that they made for him. Like, that's cool. And he's like, oh yeah, like that's like, oh, thanks, man. But Aaron Rodgers, if he showed up with that number 8 chain and like they'd be like, who's this fucking guy?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So I love it, man. I just love it. I'm so excited as a Jets fan just to be relevant. You know what I mean? I'm just excited just to have a good season. And I'm 38 years old. I've seen it all. Former season ticket holder, like I always say on here. But like, it's nice to just have a good season. I'm just going to enjoy every moment of this. And I know they haven't played games yet, so I haven't gotten pissed yet. But I just want to have a good season. Just have a good first month of the season, so I can like relax and enjoy it. Because if you start off like 2-2 or 1-3, I'm gonna be like, "Fuck me, man! Like, this sucks." You know what I mean? But like, anyway,
I love all this too because it's just so funny to me because I see Giant fans annoyed with Jet fans, and it's just I've seen this, I know this, I know exactly this, I see this whole thing, and it's just so funny because I don't blame the Jet fan for being excited. Of course they should be. They've had no success and they have an opportunity to do something special that they have never done in most Jet fans' lifetimes. Now, they did win a Super Bowl, but like Alex, to your point, you didn't see it, right? So I don't blame the Jet fan for having a little cockiness, for being excited. Just like I don't blame the Net fan when they had Durant and Kyrie and James Harden for feeling the same way. So it just, to me, it's all hypocritical from everybody when Giant fans shitting on Jet fans. It's the same thing.
Well, the Nets thing
again.
Durant was hurt, so it's a little different.
It'll be like
Ohtani if he misses the season next year and like the Mets sign him. That's like that, but it's different because there's no salary cap in baseball, so you can just sign the guy and be like, whatever, we'll see him next year. It's not like that Durant and Kyrie just basically handicapped the Nets from doing anything for a season. You know what I'm saying? So
yes, understood. But once he came back, he was awesome. I mean, he was injury prone, but when he played, he was great. And the Nets had a chance to win a championship. And I don't blame Net fans for being excited. And that's why I get annoyed when Giant fans will be like, oh, stay in your place, Jet fans. You haven't done anything yet. Stay in your place.
We're just excited. I don't think there's real Jets fans are saying like, we're going to win the Super Bowl. It's more of just like excitement. It's not arrogance.
Yes.
It's just excitement.
And that's what
Nets fans were arrogant.
See, but see, this is
different with one player in an NBA team. You can get one player and like, whatever.
This is where I'll completely disagree with you. It was arrogance to you because you were the Knicks fan. Now you're on the other side of it.
I didn't even want Durant.
It doesn't matter.
after he got hurt, I didn't want him.
Point.
Yeah.
Now you're on the other side of it, and
right.
to you, it's excitement. But to the Giant fan, they see it as arrogance. That's what I'm saying. It's all in the eye of the beholder.
It's very similar, to be honest.
It's very similar. So that's why
the Giants are good, like the Knicks were good, and like, whatever. So I get it. It's very.
Who knows what the Giants? I mean, the Giants sneakily putting together a nice little offseason.
Sneakily.
Is that a word?
I don't know, but you used it. It worked. So
it's all about. I mean, it's not all about. But if Daniel Jones has a great year, the Giants they'll be fun. The Giants
got Barkley back and whatever.
Giants just being the NFC helps because it's such a shit
right
league.
And they got the tight end situation fixed. I mean, so like the Giants are going to be good, man. They're
the Jets, we're the Jets.
Not the Jets, but no, I'm just kidding.
The
Jets are man. AFC. Like, listen, they had the offensive defensive rookie of year last year. You know what I mean? And they got Quinnen Williams is paid and happy, and like, you know what I mean? These guys are like they're primed. I agree. Corey Davis retiring was a little bit of a shock. He would have been like a stud number 3 wide receiver, like to have him, but he probably was going to get cut, and he's like, you know what, I'll just retire. You know what I mean? I'm good, and like save the Jets some money, and the Jets probably gave him some money under the table. Like, thanks, man. Yeah, here's a few mil. But like I just they're just got with especially with Dalvin Cook, like Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall's coming back, and like it's like holy shit, like you know what I mean? Like we can be good. It's offensive line is scary. And, the defensive line is deep. The linebackers are a little weak, but like, you know what? Like the corners can make up for that and stuff. And linebackers are kind of irrelevant in today's NFL. So it's just like, let's go, man. Let's see what happens.
It is so similar to the Nets in so many ways. Like Dalvin Cook to me is Blake Griffin. Like,
oh, no, come on.
But it's the same. So? No. When they signed Blake, like he was.
Oh, it's like, holy shit.
Used to be, Dalvin, I don't know, maybe his best year is probably behind him with the way running backs work, but you still got a guy that adds depth that was a superstar.
I see.
And then the offensive line thing, it's like, well, do the Nets have enough rebounding? There's always like these questions. And I see this all the time now is the difference before and now if you're a Jet fan is you're getting in the weeds on things that matter for championship teams, the little details.
Right.
But before the debate was like, well, we don't have a quarterback. Okay.
So what does it matter?
What does it matter? And the conversation has changed now where you're going into like, is Robert Saleh lifting enough weights on Tuesdays after 8 p.m.? He only bench presses 225. I need my coach to bench press.
I'm worried about the punt returner. Is it going to be Gibson? You know what I'm saying? Like, is he good enough to be? Yeah. No, and the Jets also have this rookie, Will McDonald, who looks like a stud. I know it's the preseason, but he can rush. He's got a great vibe. I love him on Hard Knocks too. Like, and it's just like there's so much like there, man. It's so exciting, and I'm getting the best part is like I just had a son. His name is Shy, and he's we're trying to I know he's a baby, but like. Hannah, my wife, hates sports, and she like hates that the Jets take over my life every Sunday. And I'm very happy that they're good because it's not at 1:00 on Sunday every Sunday. Some are 4:30, some are Monday night, some are Sunday night. So like it makes it a little easier. But she's getting into Hard Knocks with me. She's getting into it. She loves Aaron Rodgers. She loves Robert Saleh. Like she's like, all right, so like I'm excited from that aspect. Like we're getting to like let's go. Like you know what I mean? Like I can really get the family all together into it. You know what I'm saying? Like my family. Like I grew up in a Jets house. Like it's like religion to my family. That's good. The Knicks thing was like sort of my thing on the side with my friends, but like the Jets was like going to games with my dad and my sister. Like I want to just like keep that going with my family. Man, that's exciting. Awesome. Yeah, no, nice to have a good team to do that. It's easier.
So to answer your question, am I excited to be back to normal? No. No, you just proved my point. No, I'm not. And man, I have to, for me, I got to, we're split in our house.
Yeah.
My wife likes the Steelers.
Yeah.
And I like, and she grew up in a Pittsburgh family. So, for me, it's, you're going to put some Giant games on, but let's just make sure.
Not when the Steelers are on. Yeah.
Right. Because, the Steelers are the Steelers, right? Like,
at least she's not like a Cowboys family or something. You know what I mean? At least it's not like that, like a
AFC team. No, I get
like there's no rivalry there, whatever.
But still, like if you see your kid in a Steeler outfit, exactly right.
That'll make me nauseous because I hate the Steelers.
Well, yeah, for you, you definitely hate the Steelers more than I do. But the idea, the point is, it's like when you see them not in your team, it's a weird feeling. Like in the let me put on a onesie and it's let's go Pirates. It's just it's just weird. You're like, no, that's not no.
No, we're not doing that. Yes.
No, I mean NBA I'm covered because
she doesn't care.
But
there's no Pittsburgh basketball team yet.
No, right.
Which is weird. Why didn't they ever do that? I mean, I feel like they had an ABA team in Pittsburgh, right? Or maybe not. I don't know. But like,
I don't know.
It's weird that they never had a Pittsburgh basketball team, I guess.
Yeah.
And the Sixers are so far east and Pittsburgh is west in Pennsylvania. Like what is the market for Pittsburgh for a basketball team? Is it like,
it's a great sports city. Great sports city. They love their Penguins. They believe it or not, it's
Penguins
a humongous baseball city. The Pirates have just been so abysmal. It's hard to even recognize them. If you remember the Pirate, I can't believe we're doing Pittsburgh sports talk here to end this podcast. But if you remember the years with McCutchen,
right,
the Cueto game, if that rings a bell for people, where Cueto was on the mound and they were shouting Cueto and he dropped the ball. Like Pittsburgh's a great sports city. The Steelers don't have to do any explaining.
Yeah,
I think a basketball team there would do very well because of how passionate of a sports city they are. It's not an NBA city by any stretch of the imagination right now, but if you plopped an NBA team there, they would fully get behind it and support it. I don't know the reason.
It's a big city and like sports city, so it always made me. It's always weird. It's not like San Antonio. You're like, why don't they have a hockey or a football team? Like it's San Antonio. It's a tiny city. You know what I mean? Not tiny, but it's not a big enough city.
Yeah,
Pittsburgh's huge. And it's I don't know.
And it's jealous. Anyway. The one part it's kind of jealous is like in Pittsburgh or Cleveland, you just have one team and everybody gets behind it. You and I mean, we probably wouldn't have a podcast like this if we were in Pittsburgh together. But the thought of you could be in the same city and hate a team that has a New York in front of it. If you're in Brooklyn, what are you going to say? New York sucks. Like that kind of is us at the same time, right?
Right.
Or if you're a Knicks fan, you're going to chant Brooklyn sucks. No, you can't. Like, well, I live in Brooklyn. Like it's
right.
Weird.
That's why it's Yankees suck. It's not New York sucks. Yeah,
you can't say the city. Right? You can't be a Met game and go New York sucks. Well, wait a minute, we are New York.
We are New York. Yeah,
and
we're all one New York. Yeah,
and it's kind of jealous that those cities get to just get all behind a team and everybody in the city rallies.
Well, that was the beauty of the Knicks.
Different.
That was the beauty of the Knicks before the Nets came in, where it was like, okay, we're all Jets or Giants fans, we're all Mets or Yankees fans, but everybody comes together on holidays and watches the Knicks. You know what I mean? Now it's like the Nets had to mess all that shit up. Well, Dolan messed it up by letting the Nets, get that ruling or whatever. He needed the vote for something, and he got rid of that. No other team can come into New York kind of thing, and that's why the Nets moved to Brooklyn. Blah blah blah.
Which is a really good point because the Nets were in the same market. They played where the Giants and Jets play, basically. So it's not like they're a million miles away, but it felt like a million miles away. And
it's
that's
like the Devils. They were like the Devils right now. Exactly.
Right. Exactly. So, but that's why like people like me, where in that small percentage of those Net fans, you could see my viewings of what, like you said, we all come together. This is one New York to watch the Knicks, but you could see somebody that was on the outside that wasn't part of that clique could just learn to despise and hate it. So that's a nice tie-in, Alex.
There we go.
Really good
that's
work.
A good way to end
you.
it. Right
there. Yeah. little disagree to agree piece.
Yes.
On Bad Weather Fans. DraftKings, use promo code BWF. Check that out. This has been episode 184. Apple, Spotify. Of course, if you're watching on YouTube, give the thumbs up. We continue to roll, and yes, it'll be basketball podcast, but of course, Alex, and I think you would agree with me here, we'll definitely be talking some football as the season a couple weeks away.
Let's hope
starts.
Let's hope, because going into the last basketball season, we're like, oh, the Knicks and Nets are both going to be good. This is going to be great. And then
the Knicks were really good.
Yeah, the Knicks were good, round. But like the
Nets fell apart.
Nets fell apart. Yeah.
Well, I guess. I guess a few things.
Things happened though since last year.
Fuck. All right, Bad Weather Fans, episode 184. We appreciate y'all. Alex, talk to you later, man.
Have a good one. Thank you.
You're welcome.